All right, we are back. Welcome to CptsLogs podcast. Once again with the Jamaican Bacon. What's going on, man? Got Mark Nowak here with me as usual.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on, bro?
Just getting ready to go back to work, man.
Yeah.
Just killing the rest of this weekend off.
So we published a previous podcast, if you guys haven't seen that yet, but make sure you check it out. Today, actually, we have a guest with us. It's actually one of my close friends. I've known him for a long time, since high school. I even known him longer than I know Mark, and I've known Mark for a long time.
It just feels like a long time.
I've known you long enough, dude. But we have my friend Kenneth Okeke. We went to high school together, and he's pursuing his aviation career. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Trying to live the dream.
What dream is that?
Spending money.
I think Mark is also living that dream.
I'm really good at that dream. I never wake up.
But we'll have some good information here as we move forward in this podcast. Okeke here, I've been out of the basic general aviation platform for a long time. It was like 10 years, man. Jeez. I mean, I went to Sirius, but anyways. But so it's changed a lot since I've done it when it comes to getting your initial certification, your private pilot certification, commercial, and so forth. I believe. So it's good, I think, at least for me, to kind of learn what it takes today, to move forward and get your first license, go solo, and so forth. So hopefully Kiki can help me with that. So stay tuned in her podcast as we move forward here. So.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Apply heading 230. Runway 27 left. Clear for takeoff. Turn right heading 060. Descend and maintain 5,000.
So what's going on, Okeke? What's new?
It's going good. Just study, fly,
Yeah.
study some more.
Where do you where do you go for flight school? Can you say where you go?
Yeah, I go to AeroGuard Flights Training Center.
Where's that at?
That's gonna be the one that I go to is off of Deer Valley,
Oh, okay.
Deer Valley, Arizona.
So AeroGuard. You want to talk about AeroGuard, Mark?
Nope.
So AeroGuard was actually back when I did it. It's funny how small this world is. And you realize this, Okeke, as you get more and more into it.
Mm-hmm.
But AeroGuard is where I went, and I taught as an instructor. It was my first instructor job, and there I taught a lot of people from China, and I helped them get their all the way up to their commercial certification. They went back to China and so forth. But back then it was called Transcending Aviation Academy, which was a really good school. When I went, it was a good school.
That's what it was when I started there.
Yeah.
I did a couple things there. So I did an instrument there and multi-commercial.
Okay.
So they've got a big wad of my cash as well. And then, went through many instructors we were talking about previous.
Oh, really?
That's just, I've already been through, I just cycled through my first one at UND, so
Okay.
it just happens everywhere, But that's the name of the game, right?
Yeah. What's that like? Instructors leaving all the time?
Yeah, I mean, they get their hours.
They bug out?
And the higher level you go, so the instrument, commercial, and then when you start going to punch your CFI ticket, those are more stable, more experienced CFIs as well, so then they're even more rare. So it just comes with the territory.
Oh, yeah. Especially now, because today the airline's hiring. So, I mean, when we started, Mark, those instructors were around for a long time.
Yeah.
They couldn't find a job. I mean, it's like, geez, they want us to go flying. But now, man, as soon as and I felt that's the way it was when I was going through my my final phase as an instructor. The airlines were hiring, and as soon as I got I got hired on at 1,500 hours point like 3 or something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm out of here. So with your experience, Okeke, what have you is that what you feel like has been going on? As soon as you get an instructor, as soon as they get a job, they head out.
Somewhat. I'm pretty much about on my 7th instructor since I've started. So soon as with everything that's been happening pandemic wise, and now that the airlines are trying to pick back up in the need for pilots, it's just been a huge turnover in instructors, which I've noticed. But the great thing is that when one leaves, there's another one to fill in, and they're just as great as your last instructor. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so it doesn't feel like I'm pretty much left in the dust. Or when I do talk to a new instructor, they engage with me and see where I'm at, and then continue from there, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
So why did you? I'm curious. So why did you? Now you're in the aviation world. It's a small world. I mean, why did you decide? Because this is a career change for you, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I'm just curious. I think you told me this story, but I'm really, in a sense, like, what made you want to decide to become a pilot? You know.
It's been something that's been a long passion of mine since I was a kid.
Even when we know each other in high school, you wanted to be a pilot?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Because we went to a certain high school where they had the magnet programs, and there was a high school that was a little bit further, but they had the magnet program for aviation.
Okay.
South Mountain High School.
Oh, that's right.
So I actually wanted to go there, but I didn't know my research as far as I could have taken a bus from my school to that school just to do the magnet program and come back. That it was pretty much that. And then I started in the beginning. I thought you had to be in the military to actually get that. But no, it's just been a long passion of mine. It's something that I always saw myself. I never see myself behind a desk or
Oh God. I can't imagine, man.
or handling phones all day.
Yeah, phones
Dude,
are the
if I had a desk job, dude, I'd be so fired.
worst.
Oh man, I can't imagine.
Mr. Tula, we need to talk.
I can't imagine even. Oh God, but for some reason that's a big misconception was with the, thinking you need to go in the military to be a pilot. I hear people say that all the time, and then like nobody knows how to So you're a pilot? How did you how do I come up? Do I need to join the military? It's like I don't understand why. I never thought that. Did you think that?
No, but no. I mean, no.
Did you know how?
Because if I thought it was only the military, then I would have went to the military.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, even back when I was young enough to go to the military, they weren't paying for flight training, so it wasn't really a thought of mine unless I thought I could be a pilot in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Which at that point, most of my teachers and people close to me told me I was too dumb to do. So,
but I get where that came from because there's a lot of old American guys, the old captains. They're all, pre-military.
yeah,
UPS, FedEx.
Yeah.
Military man.
Right, and that's why I pretty much, in high school I joined ROTC. It was that whole passion to, eventually get into the military and do my training and schooling there. But at the same time, the way I've learned and not doing my own proper study, was just a lot of interviews or a lot of television shows that I would see. You hear about the pilots and their background and that they were in the military.
Right.
And then, so that whole perception was me thinking, well, maybe I have to join the military in order to become a pilot.
Yeah.
So
Let's clear that up. So how did you? Because I didn't know when I decided I want to be a pilot. I didn't know when the thought came to my mind the first time. I had no idea. I was actually in Iraq.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was deployed in a Air Force base, huh?
You're just like, huh?
In Camp Anaconda, Mortaraville. That place get mortars every day.
Sounds like fun.
Incoming. That was that was the standard.
Jeez.
But it was an Air Force base, and I saw. I brought this up before, but it was like C-130s and whatever coming in, and I thought it was cool. So I went to the internet cafe. Back then, you needed like a AT&T card to make calls or whatever, or to even get access to the internet. And I went up and Googled how does a plane fly, and how do you become
Oh, really?
and how do you become a pilot? And I've been hooked ever since.
It just showed you a big dollar bill.
Yeah, I did. But so let's clear today actually. So let's clear that up a little bit. So how did you what was your process?
So my process was actually through two people, through you, and
Oh.
also through my pastor.
Oh,
When to be honest with you, when I first met you, you were, and when I went to your house, you had the whole setup
that's right.
in your house.
Dude, I had
And
a,
then that-
Simulator?
Yeah,
Dude,
he
I
had
had
a
a-
whole simulator in his house.
yeah, I had a 7.3s.
Dang. I knew you had a simulator. It was a 7.3.
Well, I had my dad's a carpenter, and I had him built like a wooden 7.3 layout, kind of 7.3 layout.
That's awesome.
And I had what was that simulator? It was X-Plane
hmm
that was that I used, and I used that as
X-Plane is good. Sorry, I keep making noises over here. I use X-Plane now. You
Yeah.
should be doing it if you're an instrument, but
yeah.
anyways.
Anyways, go ahead, Okeke. Yeah.
Oh, so that's when I found out you were going flight training. You were studying and
Oh.
whatnot. So then from there,
Lots of freaking hours in that room. Anyways,
every now and then me and you would talk, and I would ask you, and I believe I had asked you as well. Did you, do you necessarily have to be in the military? And you actually said no. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people today that are not in the military and going to school. So then I started doing my research. At the same time, every Sunday I would go, we would go to church. And then one Sunday we found out that our church was closing, unfortunately. And then our pastor was actually in flight school. So, which it felt like there were more signs for me and helped me to say, you know what, let me do more research, read more about it, go to a couple schools and talk to them and see how I can get my foot in the door and what I need and what needs to be done. At the same time, you and I would actually have, breakfast, and we talk somewhat about it as well. So that's pretty much how the start began, for me to say, you know what, if my buddy Talo can do this, and
Yeah.
my pastor can do
You could
this,
do it.
I can do this.
How
And
dare
I'm just
you.
sitting.
how dare no, I was joking.
I'm sitting at work, and I'm just like typing and answering phones, and I'm just like, I can't do this. This is not me. I don't see myself here the rest of my life.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do something, I want to do something I know I'm gonna love, and I just took that leap of faith, and here I am today.
Yeah. So what did you find out as you just the process? So
Process.
Like, so you spoke to me.
hmm
I mean, I can only say so much.
Right.
So as you went forward, like, what did you find out? You probably found out, okay, I need to do this, I need to do
Right.
that. What did you?
So the first thing you told me to do was get a medical card,
Oh, is that what it's called now?
the certificate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
medical
Like,
certificate.
things are different
Well, you
now.
still have to get a medical certificate.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was teetering like, what about my weight? What about my health? And you was like, forget about the weight, forget about the health. Just go. They'll tell you what needs to be done when that comes. I go, and I go for my first class because I was, after research and talking with you as well. First class is pretty much if I know I can get a first class medical, it just opens the door of my future into the ATP because there's a first class, second class, and a third class.
What's the first class?
First class is pretty much allows you to fly ATP, so airport transport pilot. Second class, you have pretty much all the privileges except you're not ATP. You'll be more. You can fly as commercial, and then of course third class is private pilot, recreational. You can also be a flight instructor, but you're not necessarily commercial or second in command or ATP pilit.
Yeah.
There's one more you're missing there, Kiki.
Don't do that.
So my instructor's kicking in, man.
No, listen.
There's basic med as well now. That's out
What
there.
is it?
Basic med. It makes it a little bit easier for some of the older pilots to
Basic
go
med.
out. Yeah, and basically just the gist of it is you basically just have to submit that you've done like a yearly checkup.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. It's
For the first class?
no. It's almost like a third class
Oh.
privileges,
Oh, okay, got you.
but you don't have to go see an examiner.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. So I went ahead and did that. Got my first class. Next thing you know, it's just let's find a school. So
Can I pause you there for
Yeah.
a second? And that's one of the things that's important that you just said for anybody who's thinking of becoming like you're going to start flight training in pursuit of an aviation career because you don't need the first class medical to train.
no.
Actually, to train, you don't need a medical at all, honestly.
Good point.
But if you want to go get that first class to make sure you can get the first class.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you may
Right.
be reevaluating your dreams if they're already kind of shot down.
Right.
So
In most schools, there are most schools that do. I'm not gonna say all schools because I don't know, but most schools will require you to have a minimum of at least a third class or basic. med.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So basically, in a nutshell, what these geniuses are saying, which is a very good point, you're not required to have a first class medical like Okeke, and you have a first class medical, Mark. Yeah, for training anywhere, any type of airline, any type of training. But if you want to be a professional, so it just depends on what you want to do. And
Mhm.
if you want to just be a pilot, just fun, all you need is a third class.
Right.
Because you just
Or
go
basic med.
or basic med, yeah. And but if you're pursuing a professional career, you want to get the first class because you don't want to be driving around with a third class medical, and when it's time to get that first class to be because you just got the call for an airline job, and you realize like I can't get
Right, exactly.
it,
And I
Absolutely.
just did the same thing. I had to re-up, so I made sure I had to get a first class. But I'm 40 now, so I had to pay the extra for the first class because they are more expensive,
Yeah,
and I had to pay extra for an EKG.
yeah.
But you do it so you know, right? Because
Right.
if they said, "Oh, you can't get it anymore," then it'd be like, "All right, well, what's next?"
Yeah. What age is the AKG? Is it 40 or?
EKG is 40, so to keep your ATP current when you get to the ripe age of 40, buddy,
Oh, is it
which
40?
is right around the
thought it was-
corner.
Oh, thank God! I thought it was 35 where you have to go do the.
No, it's 40.
Okay, I don't know.
And now you always got me questioning myself.
Because I was told recently. I don't know. I'll probably yeah.
But
Guys,
you only have to do it once a year, so you'll have to go to get your first class medical every 6 months
Yes,
after
40. Yeah,
but you only
correct.
have to do the EKG once a year.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Speaking of that, so Kiki, as you move forward here, so it's funny when you jump seat. You know what jump seat is?
No.
So you get used to it. You can find out pretty quick. If you wherever you go, SkyWest, Envoy, whatever, depends on what you do. If you're smart, so if you live in Phoenix and you go to Envoy, there's a good chance you're going to be based in Dallas.
Right.
Now, if you're smart, you move to Dallas,
Mhm.
or like most pilots, I think it's like 60% of pilots, something like that, whatever it is, the number is, don't live where they're based because they have family and they can't, and their wife have a job. They can't pick up people and move people, so they commute. All right. When you get your airline certification and so forth, they put you in the CAS system. I forgot what the acronym is. It's an acronym, but they put you in like a known system of all pilots
Mhm.
that gives you access to all. You can travel on all the planes as a pilot
Mhm.
for non-rev. You can also jump seat, which is they go in and ask the captain, "Hey, can I ask your permission to fly on your plane?" And he goes, "Yes, you can fly," or "No, you can't fly." Most likely, he won't say no. So for example, if you're trying to non-rev and there's no seat in the back, you can jump seat in the cockpit
Okay. Oh,
as a
wow.
pilot. As if you're in a CAS system, you don't know who you are, and so forth. In order to get access to that cockpit, you have to show a valid first-class medical certification.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Even just to ride it up front, huh?
If you're jump seating, so if you're jump seating, it doesn't matter because you can jump seat in the back as a passenger. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you work for American, but you want to go fly on United,
Mhm.
you don't have non-rev pass on United. You might have non-rev pass on American, so you're gonna have to jump seat on United. So you can go up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna jump seat. Blah blah blah. Here's my badge. Blah blah blah." And they put you in the CAS system, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
and they give you like a jump seat ticket. It says jump seater on there.
Okay.
And with that jump seat ticket, you are required, it's important, to go up to the cockpit and go, "Hey, my name, blah, blah, blah. Here's my license. Here's my medical, my first class, valid medical. Can I jump seat?" There's seat in the back, or prefer to sit in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay, just sit in the back. All right, you're good to go. But you have to have a valid first class medical
Gotcha.
to do it. Did you know that, Mark?
I did not.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And depending on who you fly with, depending on who the captain is, he either goes, he looks at it and with their freaking, like he steers at it and look at it and make sure everything's valid, or he goes, oh, you're good, man. But I've had guys go, your medical is not valid. I'm like, yes, it is. It's like, well, it's not valid. You're supposed to go get it expires. I'm like, well, I'm 32. I'm not 40, so I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that stuff, obviously that for other reason, but stuff like that as well, move
Gotcha.
forward. All right, yeah. So let's move forward. So you have your private pilot certificate.
Yes, I do.
How's it feel?
Yay.
It feels awesome. Like
Yeah.
a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulder, and now I have a new weight on my shoulder.
Yeah. And there'll be another one after that.
Exactly.
Never ends, man. It never ends.
Right.
So how was the solo?
So my solo was a lot of mixed emotions. I was excited. I was nervous. I was scared. I had it all. So,
Were you scared?
I was.
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Naturally.
I was.
What's the most? So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the scariest part about it? So let's talk about the part you're like, oh shit. What was that part where you're like, oh shit?
When I realized the instructor was not in the
Yup.
in the seat,
Plane
and
feels a little
closed the door.
colder.
Yeah.
Is that it when you on the ground?
On the ground.
Really?
Initially, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
got you. That's probably right.
Because that's when you have the most time to think about it.
Mhm.
Once you're moving, your focus,
It's
you
like,
dial in.
it's like this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about short approach? So you're on short. Where did you? By the way, so where did you instruct her? Because when I was at Transpac,
Mhm.
we would get them, which is the same thing as by regard. We would get them out of the Deer Valley airspace because it was so damn busy. So I would go down to Glendale, and I have to do the solo in Glendale because it's
Really?
yeah, it was just so smart to deal with that stuff. So I said, okay, let's go. So I'll fly them down to Glendale, and they'll do because you're supposed to do I'm assuming with your instructor, you do, you take, on that day, you do a flight with him on that day.
You do 3 takeoff and landings.
Right.
Mhm.
Just to make sure that you're not,
Right.
not gonna hit the propeller, hit the wings, whatever it is. So I'll have them fly me down to Glendale, and then we'll do those landings. The 3 landings, usually it's 3, and they need to be consistent landings. So you can't have a bounce here, a long one there, and then do a really good one here.
Right.
You need to be, all 3 need to look exactly the same way, buddy, because you're not solo today. And then hopefully the wind's calm. So did you do yours? Did you do yours at Deer Valley?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
So
Just Deer Valley. Was it still busy? Is it?
at that time, it wasn't that busy. We would take off first thing in the morning before it really got busy.
Okay.
So the funny thing is that when we went, it wasn't supposed to be busy, but then it was getting busy. And we got up to the run-up area, and we're just waiting. 30 minutes go by. Next thing you know, because I'm supposed to do 3 takeoff and landings on my solo. So when the time flew by, we were only able to do our 3, with the instructor, and then I had to complete one landing, and then make up my landings later on in the program when I do my cross country solos. So
I don't get it.
we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when he closed the door, I showed I can take off, land, full stop, taxi back, all of that. Next thing you know, final clear, heading matches runway, taking off. I'm doing it.
Game on.
Game on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just have to grease a good landing. Coming in, get ready to turn. I do my checklist. Seatbelt pops. Great.
Your seatbelt.
My seatbelt. But I was big, and the seatbelt was barely.
While you were airborne, it happened?
Yeah.
No big deal. Don't worry
No
about that
big
shit.
deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. I'm like, okay.
You don't need it as long
By
as
the
you
way,
keep focused.
those are things that's important. I guess things like that. This is important.
You're right.
I mean, you don't need it is what it is.
Right.
And the guys will do that stuff and like just start focusing on that seatbelt all of a sudden, So.
But as a new student, and you're soloing, it's just like, okay, what's going on? Let me just focus on the landing.
Yeah.
Mm.
That I can't control this while I'm in the air. I'm by
Absolutely.
myself. Next, I'll come in on final. I'm like, and then it was supposed to be calm winds. Next, I hear someone request for a wind check, and it's 10 gusting 15.
What?
Great.
Did your instructor not check that shit?
In what direction though? Was it right down the runway, or
I don't remember, but I know I was getting pushed.
you just heard it and you're like,
But the great thing is that my instructor and I, we've been practicing on crosswind corrections. So next I just hear him in my head talking to me, guiding me through.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, right aileron into the wind, left rudder, nice and slow. Do it.
So you had
Just look-
crosswind on your. There's a little bit of crosswind on your solo.
There was a crosswind on my solo.
Oh my
Nice.
god! As an instructor, I'd probably piss in my pants, man.
yeah, that'd be worrisome.
Landed.
Because you had a restriction, I'll bet, on when he signed you off.
It's not even you.
But not that you could do anything about it once
You-
you take
Right.
off.
Right.
Sorry, you can't land. Just
My
gotta-
minimum was like 5.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
just wait, Mark. You just wait when you. Oh my god! When you put that guy up on that, it's like
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna wear diapers.
I used. So I would. And this was in Glendale, and these are good students, and he goes up and you're sitting there, and you're just on your knees going, "Oh my god, dude, please." Like every
So
final you're watching, you're like, God, come on, dude, just please come down and touch down. You're watching you're like, oh my God, please, this dude better not freaking screw this up. It's the worst thing. That's probably how like parents feel. I don't have any kids.
The instructors are the students are the same way. Like, please don't let me screw this
Yeah, no
up on our
kidding.
first.
Ah. So yeah, obviously you did. Obviously, it
I'm
worked
here.
out. And
yeah, good sign. Good sign.
so you did that was the first landing,
My first.
and then you
That
went.
was it. That was it. We didn't have time to finish the last 2.
Oh, okay, that's what you were saying. You were
Right.
saying that you only needed to do one landing, and then you would do interesting.
And then I would make it up when I later on, and do finish my landings when I do my cross country solos. So, and
So you're only required to do one landings now. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't
should know.
well,
Yeah,
I
there's
believe
no-
you're supposed to do your 3 on a solo, but since we're on a time constraint
right.
and I don't know if it's because it's a 141 program.
Well, it comes down to the endorsements because the first solo, you have 2 endorsements that you need as a student from your flight instructor. It's a separate endorsement to do the cross country
Right.
solo. So,
Well, you brought up 141.
but I can't remember ever hearing that you had to do 3. I'd have to look, but apparently not. I would trust that
I would have to look at the ACS,
your school
which
is.
I have.
Well, they brought up 141, and all that 141 program is its own program that's approved by the FAA. They're not all the same. So
Right,
it
true.
could just be that program. That's all you're required.
Mhm. Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. But I know when it was the what the hell is that crap called again?
I need a little more to go on than that.
The little book. It's not ACS. It's
At the PTS?
the PTS back then. You're required to do 3 landings back then. But well, that's good. Either way.
Usually when I don't have my laptop here, I could just look it up. For standard, not for 141. Just say like part 61.
Yeah.
Like what's the
Absolutely. Yeah.
general rule?
Okay. Well, that's good, man.
Figure it out.
It's good. Soloed. Instructor was happy. He's probably pissing his pants. If I send my student up and all of a sudden I see, it doesn't even matter if it's a crosswind or not. This is not. So I send my student. He was doing his cross country flight to. He was going. I think it was. Where was it? It was either Lake Havasu or Gila Bend or something like that. Listen to this story, Mark. because you get ready.
I'm listening.
You,
Going to heal a band.
Because it's going to be interesting. So another good student. He takes off, does his cross country, comes back, lands and everything. He does. So back when I was doing it, because I was teaching the Chinese students, they weren't allowed to do touch and goes. They were only full stop,
Right.
taxi back. It was the rule. You know, you do full stop, taxi back, you know, and then take off again. No touch and goes. So, anyways, he does all his flights to wherever he went. I think it was Gila Bend. He comes back, and he lands, park the aircraft. So, Mark, as an instructor, I'm asking this here.
Yes, sir.
When your student comes back and he lands with the cross country, what was I'm just curious. What's the first thing you probably go check?
To make sure that he went where he was supposed to and stopped wherever he was supposed to.
Yeah, I guess. It could, yeah. The first thing I would check.
You're going to say fuel.
It's the fuel. So
I knew where you were going. I still
yeah. So
it
the first
occurred to me.
I was like, the first thing I would do, he lands, he's walking back, I'll walk right past him, you know, and go straight to the fuel tank and open it up and see how many fuel is in the tank. Is it balanced? Is one tank lower than the other?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I went and this guy.
He wasn't turning.
Oh, dude, the left tank was empty and the right tank was full. It was completely full. And I was like, are you kidding me, bro? You didn't switch your tank. Sir, you do realize, and he went and did a touch and go where he wasn't supposed to, which means I was like, you realize you're just about, luckily you're on the ground because you're out of fuel.
Jeez.
You ready for this, Mark? Ready for this craziness, you know? Anyways, but that's what I would do. Whenever they go up and do a solo or whatever, the first thing I would do is go check their fuel tank to see if they've actually been switching your tank. Do you switch your tank, Okeke? Are you a tank switcher?
I am a tank switcher every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes? Do
Time
you keep track of it? Do you have like a system you use to keep track of it?
We do, but the gauge is not as reliable as it should be.
It's not reliable at all.
Oh,
I was
the
trying to
fuel
say it in a
gauges?
nice way.
No,
I was trying to say that in a nice way.
And if you start going renting planes, that Archer I used to fly and rent, the fuel gauges would just do this the whole time.
Yeah.
That
Right.
can't count on those.
Can't count it, yeah.
You got to use your eyeballs.
Eyeballs
and then your
and
calculations.
calculator or time, yeah. You use because you're not doing charts and stuff. You have to like buy charts and buy all that stuff. So you use, what do you use?
For flight.
For flight and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So let's talk about that because interesting. You check rides because now it's probably the same DPEs out there. They haven't been changed. The same guys are doing the same check rides today. So back when Mark and I did our check rides, we had charts.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to go buy charts, and then we have to make sure the charts are up to date.
Yep.
That's the first thing they check. Well, the chart's up to date. If they're not up to date, you automatically fail, right? Is that what it is?
I would imagine so. I don't
automatically fail,
remember.
yeah. And then you have to, you do your cross-country flight plan on your charts. You have to like draw a line out on the chart.
Yeah.
Then it has to be folded a certain way.
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't work.
So it has to be folded a certain way so we can actually follow the flight plan or whatever.
Doing lost procedures.
Lost-
You had to do the cross radials. So you had this thing laid
Oh
out on
my
your
God,
lap and you're
dude.
trying to like draw lines.
Oh, dude, yeah. E6B in it while you're trying to freaking trying to fly this plane, trying to maintain, and they judge you on that. You lose, altitude when you're trying to do it. Anyway, so I'm curious now. Today, you do for flight, and it's the same DPEs. So how, for example, you do a cross country procedure. So do you do a flight plan
For cross-country procedures, yes, we do a flight plan.
for your check ride?
Mm-hmm.
So you plan out a flight plan using for flight,
Correct.
and then he asks you questions on that, like
Correct.
based on that.
He asks you everything he can based on the standards,
Okay.
and then how did you get the winds? How did you get this or that? And
For
then
flight,
for
Yeah,
flight.
right.
For flight. But we also have to show that we're capable of knowing how to use the E6B. As
Really?
Well. Mm-hmm.
So to see how we're asking that, so you have to like show that you have to like do why though. I still don't understand that. Like why do you need to know to use the E6B when you have a system that does it for you?
I mean, I guess if your iPad goes dead, I don't know. But I just told you the other day we went through how to teach E6B, so it's still out there.
If your iPad goes
Although
dead.
nowadays everybody should use. Do you have an electronic one? I bought an electronic app for my phone. It's way easier than the
I
whiz
just
wheel.
bought it, but I still use
And you're
the
gonna need to,
paper
so keep it up.
just just in case.
So so you have to show you can use the E6B.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. And then how is the? I'm curious. So the loss procedure, we have to draw a line and everything. You just use the on fourth flight. You just do your fingers, right? So how does? I'm like, go ahead and explain that.
So with the loss procedures, we actually have a paper that we have the flight plan on the front. We have the loss procedures on the back. So when we get ready, and whether it's your check or your stage, or if you're just flying in general, is in your loss, you just flip it over. You have your loss procedures right here, and then you have your loss comms on the other side of the loss procedures.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like we have a little like a cheat sheet.
But
It's
you don't
not
have
a cheat sheet.
You don't have to figure out where you are and stuff like that. I mean, you do.
We still have to, So on the loss procedures, it'll say, okay, arrival time, this, that, and third, and then you're just filling in that little blank, and then you make your communications necessary.
Again,
So
you're
just
still
write all
using
of
the
that.
paper.
You're still using the paper.
flight plan.
But
then.
this is always different because you realize.
But you don't use a chart to plan that.
The for the flight plan, yes, you still use a chart. I should have brought it in.
Paper chart.
The paper chart.
Okay, so they are.
You do
still
use a
using
paper chart?
We still do use a paper chart.
But you don't carry the paper chart on your cross country, do you?
We still do.
Oh, you do.
We do.
Okay.
Now the thing is, because when we get ready for right now when we're pretty much flying and we're getting ready for our test and procedures, they want to see that we still are able to use the paper chart.
See, this is the thing I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out.
I think
why.
it's slowly starting to leave from what I'm understanding. Like, I think UND is kind of staring away from using charts now.
Because you're training to be a professional pilot. This should be the fundamental. This is the fundamental. You learn the basic stuff. You got to be trained. You train as you fight. I mean, the airlines don't use charts anymore.
But you're using the flight as well, right?
Yeah, we're using the flight, but we have to demonstrate that we still know how to use the paper in case, let's say, our iPad goes out or something.
Wow.
But at the same time, just let me just reiterate, this is for private pilot. I'm just getting into instrument, so I'm not sure yet because we haven't gone to the cross country phase in the approaches yet.
Well,
in instrument, so I'm not sure.
I
if we're
did
still
instrument at
using
Aero
those.
Guard. We never did paper charts, so it was all for flight.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll be the same for you.
Okay.
Makes life a lot easier.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's a good thing that you've learned that.
It can't hurt.
You're probably one of the last people that be able to go through that. I mean, yeah, right. It can't hurt. You're right. It's true. Believe me, we heard it for us. Jesus, dude, it was brutal.
Yeah.
You think you gotta whip that chart out and you gotta fold that thing and and you're trying to figure that out. Oh my god!
So you had to keep that thing on your lap during your cross
Yeah.
countries? All right, so you feel some of our pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to do the cross radials for the loss procedures?
The cross
try to-
radio here and there. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting because like that stuff is not today. Your fourth flight has moving map, right? So you know where you are at all times. I guess.
The worst is like you're doing commercial. Like we did the long cross country commercial where we flew to California with the charts, and hopefully you won't need to do this in commercial. Hopefully it'll just be fourth flight. And you had to have now 2 maps, remember?
Oh
Because
my
you had to
god!
have the
Yeah.
California
It
chart,
ends-
and you had to have the Arizona chart.
Oh my god!
And then if you're doing instruments, you got a book full of approach plates.
Yeah, you have to have the sectional charts, and then you have to have the terminal charts for both those areas. So you got to have a sectional chart for Arizona, a terminal chart for Arizona,
That's right.
and a sectional chart for California, and a terminal chart for California.
The,
So yeah,
the AFD.
AFDs, all AFDs. Oh my god!
It's
Yeah.
a nice book, Airport Facilities Directory.
Do you still use those
The
AFDs?
I'm not sure yet.
You do. It's just you look at it on fourth flight.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're literally just, we have our 4 flight up while we're flying.
Yeah.
We have our paper on our knee, on my knee board. I use it on my knee board, and then what we'll do is they'll have us fly out and follow our flight plan on our knee board, time everything, and then probably after the 3rd checkpoint, we start our diversion. We start a diversion,
Yeah.
so we're not using the full
Absolutely.
paper chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because if ForeFlight's doing all the work for you, then
Yeah.
I mean, that way you have to know your dead reckoning and
That's true.
And pilotage,
Yeah.
that nature.
That's
your,
true.
Your pilotage, you're looking out the window and being like, all right, well, I should be at this line right now. Am I there?
Yeah.
There's my checkpoint was the mountain, and you're looking to the left.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You either see the
How long
mountain or
it
you
took me to
don't.
get there? at
Cheating's
what
that-
speed? Yeah.
Getting on ForeFlight, and there's your
Fuel.
little plane, and you know exactly where you're
Mhm.
at.
Yeah. Well, good. Good,
Yeah,
man.
that's good.
Yeah, man. Good. All right. Cool, man. So you started instrument stuff?
Yes. So
Where are you right
Yeah,
now?
exactly.
2 weeks in. So 2 weeks in. Just finished a flight a couple days ago.
Instrument flight?
Instrument flight.
So what have you...
So pretty much instrument flight. We're learning. We're pretty much learning the maneuvers all over again, but underneath the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love steep turns with the hood on. I was actually better at them with the hood on. Have you done steep turns yet?
Yes.
What do you think? Do you like them or you
You know,
don't?
at first I didn't, but doing it for so long, it's like it's natural to me. The only thing is just understanding it on the glass panel, rather than on the,
Oh,
on
you're
the,
on
on
glass
the steam
panel.
on the steam
Oh,
gate.
nice.
So we're actually learning on the G1000s than on
Oh.
the 430s.
Excuse me.
Standing up.
So
Are you in the SkyPath program, or are they just letting you use those planes now? When I was there, the only glass you had to be part of the SkyPath program,
I don't. They call it the Pathway program.
or maybe that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm on under the Pathway.
Oh, you are.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that makes
So-
sense. Yeah, we still had to use the steam gauges because I was just the broke
Wow.
Liberty
okay.
student.
Yeah. So I'm actually doing both IR and CptsLogs commercial.
Oh, okay.
And we'll integrate both of them a little bit because some of the information on the commercial matches to the IR. But the commercial is more on the 61 side, of the Part 61 side, rather the IR is more on the 141. So if there's something that we can double mission on two of those to get them knocked out, and what this does is it helps you speed up your program a little bit faster. So while you're working on your IR, you're knocking out some of your commercial.
Mhm.
So that way, once you're finished with IR and you received your rating for it after your check ride, you really don't have that much
Yeah.
left in your commercial.
At UND, when you were there, did the same thing.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
majority of your
Yeah.
instrument training was doing like cross country solos.
Mhm.
So does that mean you'll then, at the completion of this, you'll have your single engine commercial certificate, and then you'll go for a multi-engine add-on?
The way that they have it set up is pretty much single engine commercial, then your CFI for single engine, and then multi engine and CFII.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You get all that stuff, huh? Wow. You said.
That's interesting. CFI before multi, which I guess it doesn't make a difference. It's just I haven't heard anybody doing it that way
It
yet.
depends on the program. If you're gonna switch completely to 61, you can.
Oh, you can do it any way you want.
Do it any way you want.
Yeah, you could have done your whole private pilot in the multi-engine. You should have done that.
No,
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
don't do that.
Spent 3 times the money.
Yeah, don't do that
It'd be
at all.
fun though, wouldn't it? The
Yeah.
Seminole's a fun airplane. You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Actually.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
lots
awesome.
of fun. Yeah, very stable. You feel like it's very nice. You have to fly.
And I'll give you a piece. Instruments kind of boring at first, and then you start doing like the intercepting and tracking and
Yeah, because you said, control mark.
super basic.
Like you said right now that the instrument is doing the maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So
Right.
what they're doing is you're just getting you used to the flying
Right.
under the hood.
And pretty much what they're trying to help me is work more on my cross check
Yes, that's,
as far as
Scanning.
Yeah.
scanning,
Yeah.
the proper scanning methods.
Mhm.
And then I want to say probably about this week we'll start learning more. We'll learn about approaches and DMEs, and then at the same time it's looking at the IR is more of, I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of briefing and a lot of simulator. And
Yeah.
there's not that many flights in IR, but there's a lot of flights in commercial. That
yeah, because you don't need to fly the plane in instrument.
right,
You don't.
correct.
If you that's what you want. You want to spend your time
Mm-hmm.
in the simulator learning. You don't want to learn that stuff in the
Right.
airplane. You want to learn it and then go fly it in the airplane because this is going to cost you money.
Well, he's
in my
gonna.
opinion.
What's gonna be coming up soon is holds. I'll be interested to see how you do. Everybody seems to have trouble with holds in the beginning.
Mhm.
I did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna say most people because if
Everybody.
I did, damn it. But I had to go to Richard. I'm like, Richard, there's got to be a way you could explain this to me that makes more sense the way my instructors.
Yeah.
So.
Did he help you? My method? I don't remember.
Yeah, your method did.
100%.
It did.
100% of everybody have 100%. You're gonna have issue with
Your
did.
method wouldn't work on a glass panel though.
It will.
Will it?
Yeah, unless
'Cause I'm
the
just picturing the gauge, and you're like,
because the glass
the
panel
edges.
generally the glass panel has it's a big edit indicator. Your glass panel generally has a big circle in front of it.
oh,
know.
I guess you're right.
Generally, yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, it works better that way.
If you get stuck, talk to this guy.
Yeah, I got your back. You're gonna everybody, 100%.
There's something about holds. You
It's
just you
it's
think
ju-
too hard about it, and then you screw them up.
yeah.
They're a pain in the ass. I'm
And
not gonna lie.
And you do them in the airlines. People think you don't. God's sake, especially in going through Dallas when the weather comes in, your ass is holding, holding. Or envoy will expect to hold at this pace. Like, oh crap, they would whip out.
But they don't. Would they do just like a? Sorry, okay, we're just going.
No, you're
off
fine.
now. Would they give you just a random hold on a radial, or is it
Yeah.
usually like a fix?
No, it's it can be though. It can. It's happened.
Okay, so you got to know
No.
the basics.
You have to recently we went out. This is at my company I work with now in the 767. Every so often the company would call us pilots up and go do like quick. It's called validation flights. Validation flight. Basically, they fix something. The aircraft was on a maintenance. They fixed it, and they want us to go fly the plane to make sure it's fixed per the FAA regulation.
right.
We're not testing it because we're not test pilots. Just want to put that out, FAA.
Yeah.
But so we go out and we'll fly the plane to make sure, and the maintenance guys on board and they look at it and all that stuff. And usually it's an IFR flight plan because you don't do VFR flight plan generally in a 767.
Sure.
And it was in Dallas, and you get your flight plan and everything. You fly whatever. You go out and you fly it, and you're around the Dallas area where there's IFR traffic. You're up, and we're going up and down from I think it was like 6,000 feet up to like 20,000 feet or whatever it is. And ATC is gonna be like, okay, well, we don't want you in our area, so we want you to hold, so you're not freaking in the way of all the traffic that's coming in or the arrivals and whatever. And they gave us a hold. So he said it. It was funny because they said it, and I whipped out my pen. I was like, "What in the hell is he talking about?" And the captain and I looked at each other and was like, can you repeat that?"
Just a random hold.
Yeah, it was just like a random hold, and it was
hold on the 360
Oh,
radial,
man.
4 nautical miles.
It was.
northwest.
Oh, it
You're
was
like,
complicated.
Wait a minute, this is bullshit.
Oh yeah, and it was like no more than 10 miles. Oh, everything that you don't want in the hold. It was that. So we had to like have them slow down and like write it down, and then look at each other and like figure it out.
Good times. Reality
know.
check.
Because the 76 allows you to in the box you can put the hold in
Build
there.
it,
You can
yeah.
build it, but if they give you a hold, you can't just. You got to figure out what it is first and then go put it in the
Right.
box. Anyways.
So, Kiki, enjoy. Enjoy.
This is an important time, Okeke, like your instrument stuff. They say, private pilot, commercial pilot. Usually it's private pilot instrument, but they say you're officially a professional pilot once you receive your instrument ratings because you have to be. That's what makes you not just a pilot. You're a professional pilot at this point because now you doing what the professionals are doing daily in your life.
Okay.
If you do it, but now you have the capability, I should say. You have the authorization, So take this point. I mean, your commercial certificate, it's important because it gives you privileges, but it's really just some more, like your commercial license is just some more not restrictive, but more, what's the word I'm looking for here?
They're a little more. You have to show a little more fine-tuned skills.
More fine-tuned skill of your private pilot abilities or
Right.
skills. That's what it is. The minimums are the margins are a little tighter. Instead of what is it now? Is it 200 feet? Was it?
So, like a basic maneuver, it'd be like plus or minus 100 feet in private, but it'd be plus or minus 50 feet in commercial.
Yeah. That's really it. You're doing the same things. There might be a little more maneuvers you'll be doing, like you're doing chandelles and lazy aids.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
some. One more ground reference maneuver and then some performance maneuvers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more on the commercial side.
Exactly. But your instrument,
Instrument's fun,
it
but it's
is
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
As you're probably
But
finding out.
But you're a smart guy. I know you for you. It's more. This is more. This is when you can be using your brains a lot more. Let me rephrase that. You're using your brains as much as your flying skills.
But
It's, you know.
and with that said, my best advice is, and this tagged me, and mine came mostly about that was when I was losing and gaining instructors the most, and it was hard. I had time off. It'd be 2 weeks in between instructors.
Mhm.
Instrument is all about proficiency.
Right.
And it will be down the road when you're just using it too. Like I'm completely improficient now because I haven't used it, but make sure you have consistency in your training. If you even get a whiff that you're going to lose your instructor, make sure there's another guy on deck. Because you'll lose it. You'll lose it in 2 weeks. Just your proficiency to fly the plane and be able to stay ahead of it
Yeah.
It's
goes
important.
away fast.
That's
So
a very important.
Just stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's a very extremely important point. I think really what he's saying, and I think this is a very important point. I'm glad he brought it up. Don't let these, especially now, don't let these guys kind of be more of in charge of your training and control. So if something's going, the way you don't, for example, that instructor's leaving,
Mm-hmm.
don't wait for them to say, okay, we'll get you an instructor. You freaking go in and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I want like a when and where I want. Let's figure this out. Push it in your throat or whatever it is, man. Because he's right. If you don't, at this point, it's all about proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the sim. I'm not sure if they allow you to.
Right.
Do they allow you to free sims?
Mm-hmm.
You can go in there and go mess with the.
Sims open 24 hours a day.
You can get there for free. That's awesome. They didn't do that stuff for us.
I mean, one lump sum, and
Jeez.
That's the key.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's so funny. Absolutely. Yeah. Get in there and are you allowed to have people there with you, like guests and friends?
I have my old Transpac badge.
Look at this guy.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
It'd be good if I can go in there and sit down with you and do some stuff. It'll be fun.
Who something Al Pacino. Who's your ground instructor? Just curious if I would know them or not.
so my ground instructor, he goes by the name of Kyle
Yeah.
Schonberg.
Don't know him.
Yeah.
Mine was a guy named Louis or Luis. Do you know Luis
Last name?
Morales?
I think he actually just got picked up by SkyWest.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he wasn't even flying as a CFI before. He was just a ground instructor.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
So what's your plan? Okay, so what's your plan? You said, because I can tell, Okeke, that you're going to be fine. You're going to make it. Just push through.
Thanks.
What's your plan? And I know this. I've seen it. As an instructor, when you get Mark, as you become an instructor, you'll just be ready for this, Mark, because you'll have a guy. He comes in and you do a briefing with him, and the guy is sharp. He's so sharp. You're like, God damn, this kid is sharp. And he goes up and fly with you. You're like, what in the hell happened?
Yeah. And vice versa, I'm sure.
And vice versa. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
This guy could fly the hell out of the plane, but damn, he's stupid.
Oh my God, he's so stupid. And then you'll have a guy that comes in and it's like, man, this guy, I've had, you can't even, it's as if you can't even teach him. He's just so good. You almost want to not have him ask you questions and you feel like you're stupid. I've had students where they've asked me a question and I was like,
Well, let's look that up together. What do you think?
well, I'm telling you, man, you're going to have some guys ask you some questions. You're like, dude, who cares, dude? Get in the plane. Just shut up. This is your way of trying to avoid it. But the point I'm trying to make is that I generally, at times I can tell who are the BSers, you go up and fly with guys and it's like, God, you need work, man. You're so smart on the ground, but you get in the plane, you just get stupider in the plane. That happens to people. But So with that being said, with you, where you? I mean, what's your overall? Because it's gonna come faster than you think. If you push
Right.
forward and continue and so forth,
Right.
you're gonna be, an instructor,
Mm-hmm.
especially because the hardest part in aviation, in my opinion, is
Paying for it.
is the lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Right.
That's what people are that cause people to, to quit or not finish and so forth. Is
Yeah.
is running out of money or not being able to pay for it and all that. It really, and a lot of people, what they'll do is they do it piece by piece. So they'll pay for their private,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll pay. The secret is what you're doing. Is
Yeah.
the big lump sum. Get it in there and get it done and get out of there.
Right.
And even if you there's a point where you maybe run out of money in the end, you have a majority of it completed behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So all you gotta do is figure out a way to finish this little part up,
Right.
and you move forward. So either way, just push through. You'll be
You'll
fine.
end up like
Right.
me, 15 years down the road. Not really 15, but
Yeah. So your plan is to get to the airlines.
So my plan right now is to, actually right now, my plan is just finish the program.
it's
Good plan.
Finish the program, flight instructor. My wife and I, we've been talking about it. The plan is to, wherever the opportunity that's going to best help us in the long run, as far as not only paying off the debt, but also getting us comfortable to where she's fine and my son's fine. So if it's airlines, that's great. If it's charter, in the beginning, I want to do something where I'm going to be making the most of the profit, because I just want to build the foundation for my family.
Yeah.
And then once when my son is like 5, 6, 7 years old, where he's in sports or doing something, as far as activities, I want to be there a little bit more for him as far as his support. So I want to be more domestic, certain, close by. So
So this is where I come in for you, and I'm not gonna BS you.
Richard's like, don't do my job.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, the
The
3
omnibus-
months.
Well, he's a ways from that, but shit, if you can do my job, you should do my job. I'll do that job all day. But anyways, this is kind of important because in a sense, I did everything myself, individually. Like there was nobody really there to help me. I went and all these things I did, I figured it out on my own. So, for example, when I got the first interview, Envoy, all those stuff, figuring out. I first got hired on my first day. Like my first day, I didn't know. Like my very first, I'm done with training. I'm done. My first day, I didn't know what was honestly. I didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't know what was going on in my life. I didn't know how things are gonna be. Blah blah blah. I just went with the flow. All right. I'm not gonna let you do that, and it's important because you have to be prepared for this industry. This is it's a small industry. It really is, which means your instructor that's teaching you, or it might be the guy sitting next to you as your FO or your captain. It's a weird world, man. That stuff happens. So with that, you have to kind of plan ahead to the end with it, unfortunately. So you have to figure out, like you said, so you don't want to, even though you're in training, it's important, and that's important, finish up training and so forth. You want to know exactly after training, like, where am I going to be? How much money am I going to make when I'm doing it? Where my routes are going to be? How long I'm going to be gone? And all that stuff. You don't want to wait until the end. Am I going to do part 135? Why am I going to do part 135? I'm going to make more money. You're going to be at the regionals because it's just the way the system is. Who knows where it's going to be during that time frame. So it's just important that I so you're right, finish up all that stuff, but figure out now, because that will help you when you get there in the long run. Like, where do you want to figure out, like, now? Like, where, because Mark does it all the time. He talks about that stuff all the time. I'm going to go to SkyWest. This is why I'm going to go to SkyWest, because he does this. It's so important.
Right.
It really is. okay, Skyways have this more base. They fly this plane. You want to know all that
Right.
stuff. What you don't want to do is be done, which a lot of guys do. And then, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go to airlines. Okay, what airline should I go to? Because they're all hiring. And then trying to figure out, and then you take the one that gives you the first call, and then you go. You don't want to do that because then you once you do it, then you're within that system. You have no idea what's going on. You're commuting and all that stuff. You know. You got something to say, Mark? You're trying to.
Yeah, to add that too. And you can't just look at money.
Oh,
you
God.
can't just look at base. It's got to be this whole big picture.
Yeah.
And if you do look at money, what you need to be careful of is one airline may pay per flight hour more than others, but if you don't fly, if you just sit reserve, you're not making that money. So you want to make sure, I want to be looking at money and the pay per hour, but you also want to make sure that you're at an airline where you're actually going to be flying. And then even potential looking forward is like you want to get out of FO ASAP so you can start logging PIC and making captain pay. Who's upgrading the fastest?
Yeah.
It's this huge picture that you just...
That's true.
And it's always changing and shifting and moving. So, I just always watch it all. I watch Envoy, I watch SkyWest, I watch Republic, all of them.
So that's good. So the point I'm trying to make is you're good. You're good. You're in a good position. You're fine. But when you're done, you should know, I'm done. And all this crap is done with. I'm going to be an American. And this is how I'm going to do it and why. Does that make sense? You need to
Makes sense.
plan. So you say you're going to go to, I think you said you were going to go to Envoy. You have to know, why am I going to Envoy? Envoy makes enough money. Do I have more time with my family? Is he going to get me to American? I wish I went to Envoy because they were the first one that picked me up, and then Transpac had that program they had and whatnot, and I spent freaking 4 years commuting back and forth, and a very senior airline. It's a very senior airline. A bunch of senior guys there just never left. So for a while I was on reserve as an FO, and then when I became a captain, I was in Dallas because I wanted to be a Dallas base because I wanted to commute. It was an easier commute than O'Hare, Chicago. So I was also a junior captain. So I sat around a lot, on reserve, not flying and whatnot. But so I'm going to help you out with that. The point I'm making is that I want to make sure you don't do that kind of stuff that I did, So
yeah, I know. As of right now, I've also joined the pathway program, the cadet pathway program with SkyWest because they're a partnership with AeroGuard. So that way I'm starting my seniority through their pathway program.
Seniority's key.
So you've gotten her like an ID, like company senior number.
Yeah, so
That's good.
So I have that, and then they guarantee an interview. Doesn't guarantee you a job, but guarantees you an interview with SkyWest. And if I am accepted, then I start my training, and the seniority and everything else starts kicking in to where if I have the most seniority, I can actually pick my domiciles based off of the seniority status or whatnot. So
what's the...
And class dates, right?
And class dates, yeah.
So what's as you look forward, what's the most important thing? So there are a few options you get when you're with your schedule all the time. You can make more money. You can get more time off. I think that's about it. That's it. You either work more, make more money, or you work less and get time off. And it's all based on seniority, obviously.
Right.
So you gotta. Unfortunately, you can't do both.
Right.
So you gotta
can't
figure
find
out
that balance, and I'm very family oriented. So, but I do know just in the beginning, I want to just get that base for my family, and then, down the road, if because I don't want to miss my son's graduations or anything like that. So, I want to be right now. That's the big key is figuring out what to do. What's going to be most important, the money or, the time off?
Yeah.
So
but you have time anyway. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm just bringing that up because nobody brought that crap up to me, man. It's like, and I was married, and I
Yeah.
was gone, 5 days out of the week at times. And then I feel like Envoy changed the schedule because it was like 4-3, and it became 5-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it did that stuff reserved. They don't really
I heard Omni's rough right now.
Omni.
I think they pay well.
Omni.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Envoy.
Envoy.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put that out. We don't say Omni in this podcast.
Cut that out. Well, you did earlier, too, so you might want to listen carefully.
I said Omni.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Did I say Omni? Okay, I'll cut it out. I'll listen to it. But
Anyway, segue.
segue. When I left, I went to the airline. Like I was with the military, and I had like this military job or whatever. It was a state job when I was working in the military. But I can ask for time off. If I wanted time off, I'll go to my manager and I want this time off. We'll figure it out. Blah blah blah, and they'll give it the time off. When you get to the airline, I mean, you have there's so much people that within their system that it's all computer based. It was really weird for me. So you submit time off through a computer, and a computer sends a message back to you that says denied. And then you're like, huh? And they're like, well, okay. Who do I talk to? Is this it? Versus going into somebody and talking to somebody and they're trying to figure it out together. You get unable. We don't have the manpower. And that's the way it is. And then you go in and go, I need this time off because my son or whatever is graduating. And they go, okay, well, so does Joe and Phil because he's senior. Right. You're like, okay, I just want to.
Yeah.
We're ready for that.
Right.
Just the way it's a unionized industry.
Right.
Yeah.
So because I'm thinking about that route or maybe possibly a charter route.
So when you say
I want to
charter,
do more research on charter, more so like your private jets, private
like
corporate,
like
corporate.
Part 135.
corporate. Yeah.
I'm not a Part 135. I can't. This is not me, man. I can't stand it.
Have you listened to
or
our
air transport or medical transport,
Oh.
medical air. Well, we'll see.
What have
Find
you?
Doing research.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do what you like. What do you know about it? Like Part 1. So it's Part 135, which is
Not much. Not much. So
could be Part 91.
also it could
One
be
or
Part
the other.
91. Yeah. You know what Part 135 is?
Mm.
Part 120. You know what Part 121 is?
no.
Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I didn't think I did either until like commercial, and I started really paying attention to that. If you think about it, true. I don't think we probably bought where we probably were. No, well, I don't know.
I was dorky enough to know it by private,
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we
but
did.
that was because I was dorky enough to go that far into things that didn't really
Yeah.
concern me. Anyways,
I'm not a charter guy. I like the airline living because not because I'm lazy. I just like people doing things for me.
you need to listen to our podcast. Did you listen to the one with Cameron?
No,
cut
but I
this
did
out, but-
see.
Mm,
I
no,
did
it's
see
good.
it. I did see that it was uploadable.
Take a look.
He does.
There's some info in there that'll
Okay.
enlighten you on what 135 is or
Okay.
and 91.
Yeah, or so it's charter. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The lifestyle. I mean, it could be a glorious lifestyle and fun.
And they compare Richard
Yeah.
and Richard being in the airline and Cameron being in the corporate.
Yeah.
You get some comparisons.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what you get and so forth. And this is one thing I want to before we head out here because it's good, but this is important. Whenever you walk past or you drive past an airport and you look at the airport and you see a plane and whatever it is, a nice fancy jet, a huge jet, a propeller, whatever it is, and you go, man, I want to fly that plane. This is important. Anybody listening, this is very important. There's a lifestyle that comes with flying that plane. It doesn't matter what it is. There's a specific lifestyle that comes with it. That plane makes money. Whoever owns it, whoever wants to fly it. And if you're flying that plane, you have to live the lifestyle that the person puts into it in order to make money. All right, it's not all funny and fancy dancy flying a cool jet. Some of the nicest jet out there is the worst jobs
Yeah.
you can have. It's just very important that you understand there. If you're gonna fly a Lear, which is one of the kind of you're talking about ambulance, whatever it is. There's a lifestyle that comes with flying a layer. Was it 30? Was it 135?
That's why you snickered when you said that.
There's a lifestyle that comes with it. Generally, that lifestyle is you're on call all the time,
Right.
24/7. You don't know. You can't go anywhere on your schedule. Whatever. You're always on call. You can't do anything with your wife, your kids. Generally, I don't know. Most of the time, you could be anywhere, anytime. It's just there's a lifestyle that comes. If you're doing a specific job, like where
Sound like a firefighter. You can cut that out. But.
no,
Sort of is.
it kind of sense it is. You're on call. So it's just important to I didn't know I didn't know these things. Maybe because I didn't read enough or whatever it is, but you're gonna know because I'm gonna tell your ass. So, so yeah. But anyways, cool. All right. Any questions? Anybody want to ask anything wrong? Blah blah blah. What anything? Anything you want to know about the job I do now?
He wants to talk about himself.
No. I'm done talking about myself.
No, not you, Richard.
Oh.
Richard wants to talk about himself.
Yeah, like exactly what do you do and how do what do you like about what you do now?
Now?
Yeah.
Shit, everything. God, I love this job so much. Don't say this on the podcast because we're in negotiation. So
You said that before.
I like it because well, first of all, I know my schedule.
Mhm.
I travel a lot. You, in a sense, it's almost like being in the military in a sense where everybody in the military, you really don't have to do anything. Everything is scheduled for you. You just have to show up
Mhm.
and do whatever your job is.
Okay.
In a sense, I feel like that's the way it is. Everything is scheduled for you. The flight plan's done. The aircraft is maintained. They tell you where to go. They take you where you need to go. If somebody picks up your bag, everything is taken care of.
Okay.
There's food, whatever. All you got to do is do what you're training to do, and that's fly the plane.
Mhm.
That's what I like about it, this particular platform. And the same thing with American. With American and Delta, United, the same thing. You show up, you go fly the plane. The difference with my job is that I don't do it as often as those guys do it. I was talking to it's just important. I have a friend. He was at Envoy. The camera's gonna go on you. So, no. Anyways, it was on when you look down. But he was at Envoy. Is my when I first got hired at Envoy or the airline, the union is gonna send you like a union rep, and that's the guy that's gonna like set you up with everything and kind of show you the ropes and so forth and get everything you need. You'll get that from the union. The union does not represent you the first year. You're on probation the first year, but they'll still do things for you, And so he was my union rep, and he got awarded the 175 captain the same time I did. That's how the seniority was weird like that, even though he was there before me at Envoy. But he left and went to Delta, and he's at Delta now. And I'm at Envoy at my company now, whatever. And he just wrote me. We were talking. He's gonna be on the podcast too, by the way. We're just scheduling it. And he's like, dude, it's like Delta keeps optimizing the schedules. So when they go to when they fly to, for example, they fly to Charlotte, wherever they fly, they spend, minimum rest. So per the FAA regulation, the airline have to give you at least 10 hours of rest, 2 hours to the hotel, 1 hour to the hotel, 1 hour back to the airport, and then 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep time. That's law, right? Anyways, so if you get to a good company, you get some time. You go somewhere, you get some time to go hang out, have a couple of drinks with your friends, laugh a little bit, whatever you do, and have fun. Enjoy the place, location you go to. That's the whole point of this job, is to enjoy all these things. But now the airlines get to a point where there's apps and all this stuff they're figuring out. They can be more efficient and make more money, and you're just a number. So now he's like, man, they're trying to optimize the schedule, optimize everything, so they get the minimum rest time per overnight. The minimum. He's like, dude, I have 5 days on my schedule, and each overnight I get 10 hours, the minimum each overnight. So I can't do squat. I can't go out. And per most companies, the minimum drinking time, most airline is 12 hours, bottle to throttle. So
it's 12 hours.
in the airlines, most airlines,
Okay.
it's 8 hours generally.
Right.
But and this is not FAA. This is
Well, I don't
airlines.
drink, so
Well, FAA is
it's
12
just
hours.
Huh?
FAA is 12 hours.
Oh, is it 12 hours?
Yeah, you're used to all the schools. The schools are 8 hours.
Oh,
actually
okay.
no, it should be the other way around because FAA is 8 hours.
Yeah, FAA
School
is
is
12
12.
hours. FAA is 12 hours.
Look it up. I always thought
I
it
don't
was.
need to.
No, it can't
It
be.
is.
It can't be 8. It can't be 12 hours because my company just changed it to 12 hours. And they were 8 hours.
I know FAA is 12 hours.
It can't. Well, the company can't be less than the FAA. Like their standards can't be less than the FAA. I'll segue this as you guys looked it up. You stand corrected?
I might be. I don't think I will be, but
Okay.
you know me. I wouldn't put money on it ever.
Mark. Yeah, yes, because
Because I know that the maximum breathalyzer is 0.04. So if I can remember that, I should remember the hours.
it's half of that though, right? The FAA is half of that.
No, that's FAA.
Yeah, it's 0.8.
9117.
Yeah, he's whipping out the freaking he's whipping out the rags, bro. That's funny.
Nice.
Let's see. Within 8 hours after a conversation with any alcohol beverage. Yeah. While having an alcohol count of 0.04 or greater. 91. He whipped out the rags and everything. That's freaking funny. Look at the Kiki.
Well, that's what she's got to do, man.
whipping out the rags and
That's
crap. Yeah. So yeah,
That's
he's
gotta
8
be.
hours. Yeah. So I won't put this in the podcast, Mark. I won't make it.
Oh, I could be stand corrected. I don't care.
Yeah. So yeah, 8 hours. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is most company, their standard is 12 hours. So you have 10 hours. So you have no time to drink. You're just you can't do anything. Go hang out, have a dinner, go to bed. So with my company, I go to a place and I'm there for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy it.
Nah, yeah. I see where I went wrong with that. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Good call.
yeah, because the companies can increase the standard above the FAA standard, but they can't go below it.
Yeah, no, that's where I was mixed up in my mind because that's what I was thinking in my mind, and for some reason, though I was transposing it as shorter was better.
Yeah.
Versus, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so backing up, you're right. Most schools are 12 hours.
Mm-hmm. And most airlines are 12 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
which makes sense.
they had 4 hours on the minimums.
I mean, you don't have to listen to that shit anyway.
Yeah, well, you heard about the guy in friggin' Scotland that got arrested for
You told me about it.
for whatever. You pull out the cockpit, and you will go to jail. By the way, if you do that crap.
It's no way to end your career.
Yeah, your ass is going to jail if he's going to rip you of your certificate. So don't do it.
You hear about the guy who had the fake certificate?
When is this?
South Africa.
Oh, I heard about
25
that
years.
too. How many years?
He had a fake certificate
Oh,
for
yeah.
25 years. Was a
That's
pilot.
insane.
That's funny, man. Oh God, crazy things. Cool, man. Yeah. I mean, so that's what I love about my job. You know, with American, you're gonna do, three legs. I don't know what it is. You know, but my company, you work long hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's times. I'll give you an example, and we'll kind of conclude here. I'll give you an example of how things are, how things can be. There's times when I fly from it was like Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to go to Japan, and we'll leave like at early in the morning, around like whatever 8 o'clock or whatever in the morning. And then if I'm deadheading, for example. You know what a deadhead is?
Mm-mm.
It's when a company moves you around. They want to move you, put you in position or whatever. All right. So I get on the plane. The flight's at 8 o'clock, for example. All right. I have to get up 3 hours before the departure time,
Mm-hmm.
because generally the pickup time is 2 hours before the departure time. Right. I got to be downstairs 2 hours before the departure time. so I can get to the plane an hour and a half before departure time. You know, so that's 3 hours already.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Right.
All right. I sit in the plane. He takes off. For example, these routes going to Japan sometimes it's 10 and a half hours. So it's 13 and a half hours already. Right. I did this one leg where we get somewhere in Japan, and then I'm staying on the plane to somewhere else. So I landed, and then we sat there for another like 3 hours. So that's 16 and a half hours already. Then the final flight was 2 hours. So we take off and go to a final destination. So that's 2 hours. So that's, 18 and a half hours. Then we wait for the transportation for an hour. So that's 19 and a half hours, you know? And then you get to go to the hotel. And then this entire time this happened, the sun never go down once. It's daylight the entire time. And then you get to where you're going, and then it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, oh, let's go out. Let's go hang out. you know? And then you go out and you go hang out, you know? And then you finally hang out with everybody. You drink, you party, whatever. And then you go to bed because your body's like it's daytime, you know? You go to bed at 10 o'clock or whatever, and you go to bed. So you've been up for like 30 hours, and you have no idea. You just, anyways.
Wow.
So there's days like that. But anyways, well, Kiki, it was great to have you. I mean,
Absolutely. Likewise. Thank you.
you know, I learned some stuff that's going on here back in the world. What do you say, Mark?
Yeah, man.
Is this your world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going flip on it though. Gonna be
Get ready for it.
on the teacher side.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Get ready. Piss your pants when you gotta sign that solo endorsement.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh,
I'm with Kiki though. I gotta pass the course first, so we'll focus on that.
That's good. That's true. One of these days, we'll go up in the Cirrus.
Okay.
I'll let you do a landing. You can show me what you can do.
A little different than the Archer.
A lot.
Have you done?
different.
Have you done a landing? You haven't done a landing yet. No.
I did. Got about a low approach, but then I wasn't sure if you wanted me to land it or not, so then I gave you the controls. That's the kind of stuff we need to discuss beforehand. Because then you're like, well, yeah, you could have. And I was like, well, shit, I would have.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll go up. We'll fly.
Okay.
You know, we'll do some stuff. We're gonna start doing some more stuff. Some captain's log, serious flying pretty soon. So
Okay.
we're gonna start going to long country. Me and Mark do some long cross country flights, IFR flying or whatever, instrument flying. If you have any questions about an instrument, there's an instructor there.
Absolutely.
I'm not an instrument instructor, but
But give me a call, man, because or give me a call. Don't be, let me know what's going on. I'm gonna stay on you tighter at this point around, because the instrument stuff. You're smart. You probably able to figure it out, but man, God, just turn. I'm not sure. Turn, time, twist, and all that nonsense.
forgot
oh
that
my
crap.
Learning
Lord.
about
God,
that
dude.
right now.
You're doing that right now.
Patterns, Yeah.
Oh God, you're doing that stuff in the plane. Oh God, it's I don't know how my students. I remember once I was flying with one of my.
Standard rate turns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
all that stuff. We should. It's why you never do that. Well, you have autopilot on, so all that stuff goes away. Once you're done, all that stuff is just like you didn't even do all that shit. Standard rate, what? But yeah, so take it in, man. You'll be good.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah,
Mark. Are we out, Mark?
we are out.
We're rolling out.
It's getting warm in here. Peace.
He's getting out. Peace.